Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. It's time for a post-match reaction to Rangers 3 Celtic 0 at IBROX. Today, I'm joined by Alistair. We're going to be going through everything to do with the game, and we're going to probably be criticising quite a lot of people today, players, manager, etc. Alistair, first and foremost, how are you doing after that one today?
Wishing I will got up this morning, tell you the truth, but look, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure Rangers have got a DBZ as we speak.
Aye, Alistair, we knew it was coming. I said we both kind of said on the preview yesterday what was coming, and it transpired. Rangers were going to sit in and they were going to counter attack us, and look to force Celtic mistakes. Celtic made it so easy for Rangers to just play through them. And you could see it because the amount of mistakes that were being made was just diabolical at times. I'm not going to go overboard here because I'm still looking at the course of the season. We're still in a great position, but I do think there needs to be really a lot of players need to hear kind of as if they're going to be listening to this, but they're going to hear the criticisms, which, to be honest, as you know on this channel, I've felt something like this was coming for weeks.
Yeah.
So the team selection was where my first stumbling block was. Now,
you phoned me and you said, and I quote, "What is he doing? Drop ankles."
Aye,
and I just thought, when you go.
It's not even just the angles for me. It's the whole. It's just the whole side. It was, Ice Michael, Carter Vickers. Scale and hindsight should have been nowhere near that team now. Personally, in my opinion, obviously that's a hindsight thing. At the time I was like, right, fine. What's the point now? It's Five being here anymore at Celtic if he's not going to, because how many Greg Taylor disaster classes have we watched? And I'm not just going to sit here and say that Greg Taylor was to blame for our faults today. He wasn't. But how many times are we going to have to watch Greg Taylor sit there and go through the motions before Alex Five gets a shot? Now, I'm not saying if Alex Five started the game, we would have won the game, because the system was just fundamentally wrong anyways. I didn't get mad what player was in there. Now, Alistair, as you said there about Army Engels, what was it? What was the manager playing at? Now, I get he had a flu or whatever, he wasn't feeling too great. So,
why is he on the bench then?
Bullshit, exactly. Why is he on the bench? You have spent £11 million on a central midfielder who has been under so much criticism, and you're not helping his case by leaving him out of one of the biggest games of the season. And I'm not going to sit here and listen to this D Drubber shite. It's a derby at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck if it's a D Drubber, in my opinion. It is all about we want now. They were going to beat Rangers. Were going to beat us at one point, but the problem was, Alistair, we didn't make it remotely difficult for Rangers to beat us.
Getting beat, but that was a rollover.
That was a rollover.
Tackle you in the belly.
And Alistair, I hate to do this, right? And you're probably going. People probably don't want to, but all credit to Rangers. All credit to them because they knew they were up for the fight. Now, you can see they're brilliant at not doing it under pressure. Let's not beat around the bush about it. And that's not just better, that's just me saying that.
I said that to my dad. I said, and you know what he said? Now, you know my dad. He says, they'll probably get beat off Hibs. But the type of thing Rangers would do, but who gives a toss about them?
Who gives a toss? But the issue is, Alistair, they might not have the best technical squad, right? But they had fight. Now, you can have all the technical dinghy and all the best players. See if you've not get fight, you're fucked.
What is the saying? Hard work will beat talent every single time.
But we didn't learn from the semi-final, the final, sorry, where we won it, obviously, and it's great. That's the game that meant the most. And we all said after the League Cup final, like, Rodgers will learn, and Rodgers will find a way to kind of maybe Rangers set up the exact same way. And this is where I'm going to have a go at Brendan Rodgers, right? Because, as you know, Alistair, me and you are probably like two of Rodgers' biggest backers. I have backed Brendan Rodgers when other people have said, nah, he's a snake, he's this, he's that. I'm not saying sack Brendan Rodgers, but he deserves to be questioned. The arrogance.
I'm still backing him, Josh.
No, of course.
However, I don't think it was the system. The attitude from the players on the park, it wouldn't have mattered what system you played. And for God's sake, I'm going to rant now. Pick a midfield and go with it, because that's not helping either. Leaving this year and that year out a game
and this is what it reeked to me when that performance today was a performance of complete and utter arrogance. A performance that we just think, and I felt this for weeks, that we just think we can turn up to any ground in Scotland and put in a dog meat performance and expect to come away from with the 3 points. Well, do you know what? The wake up calls finally came.
Can you imagine if they had beaten St Mirren?
Oh, be back with the title race back on.
Horrible. We're very fortunate that I don't think, as I don't want to put words in your mouth, I don't think it'll cost us in the bigger picture, because I think we'll do enough. But that performance today was shabby. It was half-assed. It was it was basically dog meat, and there's nobody getting past Martin's
No.
for me. Nobody.
Not one of them. Because, as you said there, Alistair, you could have blew that full time whistle after 10 minutes.
Yeah. As soon as that goal went in.
Because there was nothing. Every player out there going through the motions. Scales just having an absolute nightmare. I'm going to go into individual players in a minute. Now, and before what you might say, oh, well, the whole team is crap. I know that. I'm aware of that. But I do think some individual players need to be spoke about, because let's just say the performances were diabolical. We go behind Alistair, and Liam Scales, which I've always had an issue with. His passing, just terrible.
When he's got time to think, it is a bit.
Oh, he's horrendous.
He's
horrendous.
He
gives that away to Raskin, who, I don't know, Bernardo was he just shrugs off Bernardo. Nico Raskin absolutely strolled our midfield today.
Nico Raskin.
And don't get me wrong, he's been put out for Rangers, but for one player to completely dominate a whole midfield is nowhere near good enough. Then Hadji, decent finish through the kind of bodies into the corner. And you're thinking
Michael was unsighted, to be fair. But
1-0 down, and you're thinking, right, okay, that might spur us into life. But yet again, Alistair, it's another one half. I think not even one half today. It was the whole 90 minutes. It was just
5 minutes. We probably had control for about the first 5 minutes of the second half. I'll tell you when the control died. After Keel goes offside goal.
Which, by the way, is a decent finish. I'm not going to lie. I know it's offside, but
couldn't even enjoy that because I knew he was offside.
And then the second goal, Alistair, is it's embarrassing. It's a set piece, and we're just at 6s and 7s trying to defend. Nobody knows where. Scales is just he's with the fairies at this point.
Why is Maeda marking proper?
It's to be honest, the goals are blurring me to be honest now because it's horrendous for the whole team again.
One of our best headers of the ball on the post in Big Ida, which
Aye.
that just doesn't make sense to me.
And you know what? This is another thing I'm going to have a massive issue with, and it goes back to Brendan Rodgers. The subs yet again were far too late. Right,
I was
and this is when
amazed.
this
I
is when
was
I'm
amazed.
this is when I'm going to get into individual players. There is no way in God's earth that Liam Scales and Rio Hatate deserve to come out for that second half. Now, Alice, I know you're a big Rio Hatate fan, but even you admitted today he was god fucking awful. I have
Yeah,
never
boy.
ever seen a worse performance from Rio Hatate since he's been at Celtic. Now, Rio Hatate's not been in the best of season. Let's not beat around the bush about it. But that was embarrassing. Let's not sit here and and I'm trying not to get fucking over annoyed, but I'm annoyed. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not annoyed because I am. But Scales, the fact he comes out for that second half after putting it,
centre half sitting there.
yes. Now I don't know what the hell Austin Trusty's done wrong, but Liam
It
Scales
was
showed.
something in the League Cup final when he got hooked, and he's
Liam
not been
Scales,
seen since.
Liam Scales showed why he is a third choice centre half. And do you know what? See if that offends people, I don't care. I don't, because that's what he always was. He was never ever the answer to our centre half problems.
He's
We've got
cover.
we've got a £6 million centre half. Now, I was happy Liam Scales coming in the odd game, but he does not start a game against your bitter rivals. End of. If you've got a £6 million centre half sitting there and you've no played them, it's no good enough. It's
Arguably, you could
arrogance.
argue you've got two centre halves, one at 6, one at 4.5.
Aye, exactly. And this goes back to Brendan Rodgers being too arrogant for me. Now I love Brendan Rodgers, but he can be really arrogant at times with his team selection. I think, and as you said, Alistair, we need to stop this tinkering about with a team. Pick a team. Now I'm not saying the same team needs to play every single game, but this making 4 or 5 changes to a team every week, there's no cohesion. And we've seen that.
I agree with you.
Because
And
see if you look,
Josh, why now? I'm not picking in this particular player. Well, I suppose I am. Greg Taylor, he's obviously said to Celtic reportedly that he wants to talk to Dynamo Zagreb. Why not give Alex Vai, who you paid money for, to take a loan for a season, and you're not giving him a chance?
no, definitely. And Alistair, for me again, it's this. If you look at the start of your season, right, well, we're blitzing teams for fun. And I'm not saying we've had a horrible season because we get beat 3-0 off Rangers. We get beat 5-1 in Martin O'Neill's first season and won the treble. So I'm not going to sit here go overboard, but we'll go into that in a minute.
The way, Josh.
It was the way. We just said we showed up, and I know one of my I was talking to a Rangers supporter, and he put it the best way for me here. We strolled up that we knew it was a dead rubber. We played it like a dead rubber, like a pre-season friendly. Rangers played it like a European match.
Yeah,
that's the difference. That's the difference because they knew the manager under pressure. Well,
it was pardon the pun, it was do or die for them, really.
It was, and aye. And they went out there and done it because the lack of fight was just alarmingly bad. It was. Now back to the Alex Vai point. Greg Taylor is on the way out. He has put in X amount of performances where it is continually just beyond stupid how he's still getting picked to play for Celtic. Now, I'm not being disrespectful to Taylor. He's done a decent job, but there becomes a point where you need to refresh that position.
It's like Edward in the COVID season.
He couldn't give a fine
The
ass.
rumour he had apparently down tools, even though he got something like 25 goals or something. But anyway, that's by the by. Greg Taylor, I'm sorry to say, is yesterday's man. So you either play Valley, get a left back in, and sell Taylor, or but honestly, I would say there are as many as 4 or 5 players needing removed.
I probably disagree with that. I want to speak about the manager again now. It probably seems I'm going a bit hard on Brendan Rodgers, and probably the reason I am is because we've gave him a lot of plaudits over the last few weeks. We've gave him a lot of plaudits, and you can go back to the channel and you'll see I've gave Brendan Rodgers fantastic, and he's still the manager. Obviously, I'm not saying Jack Saka in it, and he's still Brendan Rodgers still takes forward, whatever. But he had to learn from that cup final because Rangers gave us a warning there. So I was like, right, Brendan, you're going to adapt and you're going to learn. See if you. This was an interesting stat. I can't remember where I seen it. See in the big games this season, so your Club Brugge, your Dinamo Zagreb, your Rangers, we have had all the ball and we have done nothing with it. That's an issue. It's okay sitting here and saying we've had 70% of the ball or 68% of the ball, which we had. If you look at the possession stats, we had probably had the lion's share of possession. Means fuck all if you don't do anything with it. So this is becoming an issue now where it's just pointless possession. There's no pace, there's nothing in these big games. So even Celtic expected to win games in Europe, like Bruges, for instance. But let's be honest, we were expected to win today. Let's not act like we won. We were expected to win today. But yet again, the lack of cutting edge, yet again, the lack of quickness, it's too passive. And I don't know if it's a complacency thing. They just think they're going to turn up and the result will take care of itself. If it is that, I'll be extremely disappointed. Because, I don't associate that with Brendan Rodgers' side. Because that was... we've been doing this podcast for a year and a bit now.
Yeah, a year and a bit.
That is the worst performance since we've been doing this podcast. It is the worst performance in Brendan Rodgers' 2 spells as Celtic manager.
Yeah.
Because it was absolutely... You were up against a back line of Robin Proper, Dujon Sterling, Ridvan Yilmaz, and Yefty. And you had Liam Kelly, who's their substitute goalkeeper. What did Celtic do? Do we try and get forward, get at them? No. Do we try and Kuhn getting at Yefty, who by the way Kuhn I thought was diabolical as well.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do anything like that. We just sat there and just thought that something was going to take care of itself. Pointless passing. It was nowhere near it. Alistair, it was absolutely nowhere near it.
Liam Kelly, statistically the worst goalkeeper in the league last year, by the way, had one save in 90 minutes. It was that one just before half time. I think it was actually a tie, but it was a pass back. But that was the only save he had to make in about 98 minutes of football. Unacceptable.
Do you know how many shots on target Celtic had?
3.
1.
Yeah, that one.
1.
Yeah.
And by the way, do you know the last time we had 1 shot on target in a Glasgow derby?
Christopher Julian.
COVID at Celtic Park.
Oh,
now, let's be honest, if that was Neil Lennon, we'd be screaming at him. So the same needs to apply to Brendan Rodgers, no matter how much of a good manager he is. I think he's a good manager, but he's going to have a word with these players and go, all right, you just get your finger out, because that was just no good enough.
And they've kind of put unnecessary pressure in the next 2 to 3 games. Because believe you me, if we drop the next points in this, quote unquote, I don't think there's a title race, but there will be if we drop stupid
If we drop points on Sunday, the title race to be back on.
Yeah.
Because it's just, and I wanted. I was listening to our podcast there. Bhoys was great podcast, by the way. And he kind of spoke, like I think it was Russell spoke about the whole Trusty situation. It baffles me why Austin Trusty has just been exited, and Rodgers does this. Rodgers seems to do this. It happened with Bernardo last year, where he was in the team for a bit and then non-existent. It happened. Who else did that happen with?
You notice he always seems to do it with centre half. For some reason.
Then the Rocky last season was in for a bit and then he was out. Trusty's done nothing wrong, and he's out of the team.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if Brendan Rodgers.
I don't believe for 1 minute that I suppose I'm calling Brendan Rodgers a liar here, but it's what I believe. So I don't believe for him. I'm Engels was sick.
We wouldn't be on the bench if he was sick. We wouldn't be on the bench. And it baffles me how our best player in the last 3 games gets 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's nowhere near.
It comes on when it's 2-0. I can't talk him on when it was 2-0.
Arne Engels should have come on at half time.
The game's over.
Arne Engels and Luke McCowan, one of the two of them should have come on at half time for Real Hatate. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because they unleashed him, and I felt sorry for the two of them. Because what are they meant to do? So Alistair, and it puts a lot of doubt. And that's big. We have, mate, I'm going to talk a bit about confidence in that here. We have, got this kind of cup final, basically, to get into the Champions League playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, I hope to God that this is the kick up the arse that Celtic need.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to God that this goes like that. Right, we need to sort something here. Because we have conceded 6 goals to Rangers in 12 fucking days.
18 days. But
18, sorry. Anyway, 18 days, we have conceded 6 goals. There is clearly something. You can't just say, oh, well, we won at the races. There's something there. Now, I'm not saying that the Rangers have sussed us. I don't think so. But I do think we need to change how we...
that either. I think that's a lazy. I think there's players in our squad that half-assed it, and they've been half-assing it for months. Truthfully.
And I've said it for weeks, and people have said to me, "Well, at least we're getting the results." But I was like, "No, but there's something going to. There's going to be a point where half-assing it's not going to get you a result." Case in point. And this isn't me trying to prove a point. I don't really care, but I could see this. And I think, Alistair, you could start to see a result of this coming.
Well, do you know something? Apart from the first 2 minutes we made a corner, I don't know if you remember this today, Kyogo missed a chance. He just about had it at his toe, and for some reason the ball went behind him. Anyhow, I digress. The thing is, and the same goes, see, it doesn't matter what striker you play. We don't create chances for them.
Aye. Because I think what happened, I think, is we conceded that first goal and completely shit the bed. every single one of them. And you talk about strikers, Alistair. We spent all summer chasing a striker in Adam. We spent £9 million on Adam, and this is when I've got an issue with Rodgers as well. And when I think the Manchester boys plus as well is what's the point? Because we don't play him. We don't play him, and I don't think Adam is getting a fair crack at the whip. I don't. I think
I'll be honest. I don't think any of this time is him getting a fair crack at the whip.
I think Trusty's.
When you go,
I think Trusty's been hung out to dry at points. To be honest, I think don't know what's happened there because I just find it baffling. Now I'm not going to sit here and say Liam Scales get out, because I'm not that drastic, right? But there's he should not be our starting two for a centre half position. We need to stop trying to kid ourselves on that he's this ball playing majestic centre half. He's not. He's a defender, and that's it. And you can see it when he tries to ball play. He constantly gets caught up. He constantly as well gets caught far too forward. There was points when he was getting tight to, I don't know who it was, but a Rangers player, and they were just spinning him.
It was Egerman.
It was absolutely. It was like watching Shane Duffy, honestly.
Yeah.
It was. It genuinely was. It was like watching Shane Duffy. And back on Ida, why does he not start these games? Now, Kyogo brilliant record. I don't think it. Realistically, what I'm going to say is, I don't think it would matter who the fuck you played today, because it was just that bad.
I mean, when was Kyogo's last goal against Rangers? It'd been a 3-0 game this year.
Aye. But it's not even. I don't think it's even Kyogo's goal record. I think it's just sometimes you wait to try and change it, but I just think for the off, it didn't matter who you played, because even either come on, it was nothing around.
I'll get this out, Josh. See, when I seen how off it was, I went me in trouble.
Aye, definitely. Do you know what? The big thing I thought we were in trouble was, see, every time you go forward, so Hatate would drift forward.
Yeah.
And this is what frustrates me, because this is
exactly a big gap.
This is exactly what we've done in the cup final. They let us go into them, and then they would just, because of how big the gap was, they had Bayrami on McGregor, who was completely stopped. I'll go into him in a minute. And Bernardo and Hatate was so far up the park, Rangers could just go, there you go. And then they were out. It was far too easy for Rangers to get out.
The diagonal ball was on to Tierney all day. Now, who was the one player that me and you said you'll need to watch? Tierney. We gave him the freedom of that park out there.
I think we also gave Hadji just the freedom to just do whatever he wanted. And, Hadji is still a decent player. So you can't give players like that time to completely just run a game.
I mean, going back to the right-hand side for a second, it was as if Johnson and Kuhn had never met each other.
Aye. No, because my dad made a point through the game. It's like we talk all about like the good link up they've got. You think they would have never met each other, as you said there, because it just they were so the amount of times the ball would just dribble out, and it was mental. It was, and then the third goal just comes because we're slacking possession again.
See, to be honest, mate, by the time the third goal had came, I was resigned to it, to be fair. The third goal didn't really matter, in my opinion, because the game was done.
I do want to speak a bit about our captain. And
I've not seen him.
I've not seen him since
the part.
just like I've not seen half the team from Leipzig, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And if people think I'm being too harsh on it, then I don't know what you want me to say. You know, we talk about, you know, we want these high standards at Celtic and whatever, but you know, Callum McGregor is, and I think Rangers have been able to nullify him in the last 2 games. It's not rocket science. And I do think we're going to have to find a different way than if McGregor's not on it, well, we've lost the game. Because I think that's the attitude. Personally, I think if McGregor can't control the game, which he's not always going to, you're going to have to find something else.
I am fed up saying Cal McGregor is not a CDM, to use a football manager speak. He ain't a CDM, he never has been. I've not got a CDM for the record.
And it dawned upon me, and I'm like, he's just not been at it at all. He was, you know, as I said, the Rangers midfield completely just they nullified what even was in our midfield. PJ had Hatate just getting through the motions, as we've discussed. McGregor was just he couldn't get out. You know, it was just
that's about Bernardo as well.
And I just think once one or two of them are really the other one gets dragged down.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely embarrassing. Alistair, I've learned that, and I think Rodgers needs to learn that he can't continue to tinker with a squad because it showed. It showed if you're going to constantly. No, I get you need to change your team.
We were on point. Sorry, Joe. We were on point when we were score 4s and 6s and 3s a lot. And then I know you can't keep up that level, but changing, especially in the midfield, it's took the dynamism out of the team.
There's no cohesion. You know, we are sitting there and it's just, you know, you're 1 minute, 1 week, and I know you need to change the squad and stuff like that. I get that. You can't play the same midfield or the same team for 38 games in a league season, but you know, it has been getting a bit too much. You know, I think it is a bit complacent from Rodgers. You know, he's changing. Aye, and it's like you need that sort of cohesion there. But there was just
be amazed if we don't see Trusty. And
we have to.
And
that's another thing we've learned. You're not telling me that Liam Scales should be playing ahead of Austin Trusty, who come in, and I'm not saying Austin Trusty, we probably would still get beat. We probably would have, because I just think the team are that bad. But you're not telling me that Austin Trusty, I couldn't even care if Austin Trusty could play at the back. I couldn't care, because I've not got a centre half.
And a physicality.
Because if Austin Trusty can't play at the back, if that is the reason why he's not playing, which I just find utter bizarre. You know, why bring him in then if that's the way you want to play then? Anyway, but the thing is, the other alternative, he can't play it for the back either, but he's also not got pace. He's also, you know, caught defending all the time. So why not just play the centre half that you paid £5 million for, who hadn't put a foot wrong?
Yeah,
it's a bit strange.
Yeah.
We've also,
I hope Brendan Rodgers proves us all wrong again.
I think he will, but it's not really about Brendan Rodgers, because I'm not saying that Brendan Rodgers, you know, needs to prove me wrong. It's more just common sense. It's common sense that Austin Trusty should be on that side. It's common sense that Greg Taylor should not be starting every game. It's not.
Especially, I hate going back to this, but especially his contract situation.
Exactly, and it's he needs to stop making all these changes to the squad. I think that's definitely. I think we need to start to get a good knowledge of where which squad we're going to be looking at, and how's it going to go. But
Now,
it's
6 months to go, Josh. We don't have a left back for next season.
at this moment in
At
time,
the precise moment in time, we don't.
exactly. So it's a big wake up call, to
Yeah.
the squad. I think it's a massive wake up call, and I'd
It
honestly,
might actually be a blessing in disguise.
it has to be, because
Has to be.
you can't sit there and play that bad and see how well Rangers just completely nullified everybody, and go at that as a player and go at, nah, they're no threat. They soon will be a threat if you don't be fucking careful.
Yeah.
You know,
And the good thing is, hopefully, Josh will bring in a couple of players in January,
it's a must
two or
now.
three, two or three, and hopefully, I personally think we're very fortunate that Rangers are not in a position closer to us. Or I think we get really, really
We're
nervous.
really fortunate. We are really fortunate, because if you imagine you're at a game where they didn't lose to Motherwell, and they didn't draw to Motherwell, and didn't lose to St Mirren.
Yeah. Neither of
Well,
us have won a game since.
so I think it was just a microcosm of everything we've been saying for weeks. Let's be honest. We've been moaning about the left back for weeks. We've been moaning at the lack of wingers bringing off the bench. We've been moaning that Hatate hasn't been on it. We've been probably moaning that Cal McGregor hasn't been on it. I've been moaning for weeks that Liam Scales shouldn't be in ahead of Trusty. So I think that's about 6 and 7 things that we've been moaning about that's all came out today. So it's going to be a bit, like, I think if you didn't know what to think already, it's going to be a big month for Celtic,
Yeah,
especially after that.
we kind of need um to just, for the next wee while anyway, we need to get back on the horse and run again.
Aye.
So
And that's what I'm saying. I think there needs to be a consistent team. Over the next few weeks, there needs to be a left back brought into the club. If
yeah,
that is Kieran Tierney, or if that is
and
somebody else.
at least, Josh, we need to know what's happening with the left back.
Alright, another thing.
We might not get Kieran Tierney in the summer, but
Made one now.
we need to know what's happening. We cannot go to the end of January with Greg Taylor and Alex Vi, neither of which are committed to the club beyond this season.
I don't like Vi, and I've always said that I don't like Vi will come, because I just don't. I'm not starting games like that. Isn't he going to change his mind, is it?
Would you?
No.
Would you?
Nah. But I think, as you say, that's still get a big, and another big thing is no farting about.
Yeah.
No farting
This is
about.
the time to go and get the wingers you're needing. And by God, you are needing wingers.
Aye.
But you know what would have been the last story there? If he put Yang Palmo on, I think I would have turned the TV off, to be honest with
Put
you.
my boot through the telly if that happened. Unfortunately, it wasn't my telly because I'm watching my dad's, so I couldn't. But Alistair, it's a big few weeks. It's.
I thought you might let it was your match, yeah.
It's no the beat one. I'm not going to sit here and say it's fucking Groundhog Day, because we're still 11 points clear. We've still got a trophy in the bag. But it's just.
That's the big picture. That's the positive.
And it will be a positive as long as we go in January and we strengthen. And
I mean, I hope we're all saying in May. See that 3-0 game? I hope you enjoyed it, because we've got 3-0 in the trophy room.
And I don't doubt it, as long as the players sit down and go, all right, what the fuck were you playing at? And I
As
hope they are.
said earlier, it might be a blessing in disguise.
It has to be. It has to be. It needs to be for me because, we could go back over all the games and, probably about 8 or 9, 10 games we go, well, didn't play that well.
You probably played well in about 4 of them.
So, because if you look at Hibs, if they finished, probably could have maybe got a few goals against us.
Hibs, Ross County, St Johnstone, Motherwell, second half. But again, it's been starters and starts. It's
Aye.
all been
Aye.
90 minutes.
And at the start of the season, it was 90-minute performances, and they've just seemed to evaporate into 45-minute performances. But so the bigger picture is we're still 11 points clear. Obviously, the undefeated thing is away.
That would have been a bonus, Josh. And I did say that at the time.
But I do think the club need to start, and that goes for Brendan. I think Brendan needs to kind of not look at himself, but I think he needs to go, right, what are we doing here? I think the squad need to kind of start performing a bit better now. We need to have a consistent team selection.
I'll be honest, Josh. I seen this with Ange, and I seen it with Brendan first time round. We need to know about his future as well.
Aye.
I've said to you off camera before, I don't want my manager going into his last year's contract.
But I do think we need.
You either commit or you leave. Because it doesn't work.
Aye.
It doesn't work.
But I do think the whole club need to kind of sit down because I think there needs to be a clear strategy going into this January window. There always had to be, but I think even further now. Because we can't just
panic, guys. We've been saying this for weeks. We need players.
And I've always said that you can't just always bank on Rangers being shite.
Yeah, they're bound to get it right sooner or later, but the way average.
They got it right today.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms
of a title race, Josh.
Well, if we don't fix it, I'm not trying to overreact here, but they got it right today, and people don't probably like me to say that, but it's just facts. But it's a big few weeks. I'm not going to fucking bother asking you man of the match because I will get man of the match because we fucking sat through it. But and Rangers fans, I hope you enjoyed me ranting and raving.
We'll get a couple of subscribers for that.
Always appreciated. No, but Alistair, I've had enough of ranting because I've ranted for nearly over 40 minutes now. But Alistair,
enjoy your only 11 points behind podcast, folks.
But hopefully it needs to be a big few weeks, Alistair. For Celtic on all levels, playing levels, and just transfers and recruitment. But that's got a bit for the match reaction to Rangers 3, Celtic 0. We'll be back later on in the week with build up to Sunday's game against St Mirren, and we'll speak to you later. Until then, hail, hail.